Hello?
Hey people, I'm Terry Bluez and I want to welcome you to Black Gift TV. Make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking the icon below. Black Gift TV is your one-stop shop for colored content. It is the official channel for the Four Color Man podcast and the Dean's List streaming series. You also find music, stand-up comedy, and short film works. And if you like the content, make sure you visit www.blackgiftcreative.com, the official sponsor for the Four Color Man podcast merch. Now, let's start the show.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Terry Bluez. Welcome back to the Four Color Man podcast. Kings building kings through candid conversation. And today I got a special guest with me. And you probably heard me mention this guy in previous episodes. I consider this man a mentor, somebody I seriously look up to, sort of changed my life, you know what I mean? Was one of my early influences in the game as far as like film, as far as like being an educator, as far as like, and this might sound weird, but how to be a black man in these spaces, you know what I mean? So without any further ado, let me introduce our special guest, filmmaker, professor, smooth jazz pianist, Ya'ke Smith. What's going on, my man?
What's up?
Yo, man. So for the people, go ahead and break down your resume, because this man has done a lot of stuff in the business. He's done a lot in education. He's been a positive influence on so many people, man. Go ahead and tell the people, give a quick rundown of your resume.
All right, I'm going to give you the abbreviated version of this. So anyway, born in San Antonio, Texas, East Side, went to, the high school, middle school, whatever there. Went to Incarnate Word University in San Antonio, and that's where I started to study communications. I actually started making films in high school, though, when I was 15, so I always knew I wanted to be a filmmaker, but I just didn't know, one, that film schools existed, where to go, especially here in Texas. But anyway, so I ended up at Incarnate Word on a communication arts scholarship. And so we studied everything, journalism, radio, print, the whole nine, because you were there as well. And then I think it was my sophomore or junior, I think it was my sophomore year, Dr. Dora Fitzgerald came, and that's when I really started to get a proper film education. Before that, we dabbled in film. You could write about a film here or there. I started kind of making small films because I always knew that's what I wanted to do. So I was doing that anyway. But when she came, she really started to mentor me and educate me on like the history of film and like how to watch film, how to look at film, how to use your camera to tell a story visually, narrative storytelling, just all of those things. And so then I started to implement some of those into the films that I made. And I always knew I wanted to get a MFA, again, which I thought was a PhD then, right? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
He educated me on that as well. But I knew I wanted an MFA in film. And so I applied to like everywhere, USC, UCLA, NYU. But I always knew, to be honest with you, that I wanted to stay here because once I visited UT, I just felt like I would get like an independent filmmaking education. I know that may sound weird. I would like to make studio films at some point, but I just knew that the types of work that I was making then, I felt like would be more embraced here. And I also felt like, I'd be able to kind of do things on my own terms. So anyway, I ended up getting into UT, went to film school there, made what we made 1, 2, 3, 4 films while I was there. Actually, you make 2 films your first year, and then you make a film your second year and a film your third year. Sorry if you hear the garage. That's my wife leaving.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like the air conditioning kicking
Right,
in.
right.
We cool though. We in our animated studio, so I'm just gonna play that off, right?
Yeah. So my first film, it was okay, but really it was my second film that kind of quote unquote put me on the map. I hate even saying it like that, but people know me from my second film called Hope's War, which won a DGA award and played at Cannes and ended up on Showtime. and just kind of did this little world tour in festivals. And then my thesis film, the Second Coming, ended up on HBO. I won the HBO Short Film Award at the American Black Film Festival. We were nominated for the Student Academy Award, blah, blah, blah. Graduated.
Hey, wait, real quick. Listen, King, don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. I know we try to be humble, but this is a show where Black man is supposed to shine. That's why I'm starting this. Hey, my man is decorated. My man's got stripes. My man's is an OG in this game. Put some respect on his name. Continue.
Yeah, so I walked into the theater stunting, and I had my no, but so graduated and actually was offered a job to teach as a lecturer before I graduated. They wanted me to come in and teach this directing actors class, directing workshop where we teach directors how to communicate with actors, how to collaborate with actors on set. Just how to work with actors, because a lot of directors, they know everything except the actor, when in fact the actor, I think, is one of the most important people on set. So anyway, I was hesitant because I didn't really know if I wanted to teach at that point. And so I kind of waited and I told the area head at the time, I actually think it was Richard Lewis who sat down with me and told me this, or who offered me the job. And then, I was hesitant. I didn't say yes. And then when I went back and said yes, they had already given the job to somebody else. So here I was out of film school.
Wait, was this at UT or where'd you say?
UT.
Okay.
And so the job was gone. So I ended up working on a feature in San Antonio. I was the video assist. And basically what that meant is I took the monitor, put it on a C-stand or the monitor stand, connected it to the cameras remotely to make sure that the producers, the actors, when they were sitting there, any special guests, the DP, that they all could actually see what was being shot. So that was my job. And I have to say, I learned so much on that set. I think UT had taught me about, they made me a better storyteller. They taught me what to do with my camera, where to put my camera, again, how to tell a story visually. It was like a lot of the things that Dr. Fitzgerald had introduced to me. They continued to really sort of cement those skills in my head because that's just what we worked on day in and day out. And so they taught me all of that, but I never really had worked on like a big film shoot, and it's different. You know how it is. It's like, there's a big difference between working on a student film set and then going on a professional film set. Things are just completely different. And so I learned just so much about how the business worked outside of film school. And anyway, so I worked on that, and then I ended up getting the job at UT. So I came back in December. That would have been January of 2007. I started teaching. I taught there for 2 years, and then I was offered a job at UT Arlington. Moved there. I was there for 8 years, and now I'm back at UT.
Yeah, your journey is incredible, and I wish we're limited on time today. I wish I could go more in depth into it, but you went from UT to UTA, and I met you, and this is how funny how the world works, man, and how the stars align, because your upbringing is very similar to mine. We've had these discussions before. And, you were at UIW. Dr. Fitzgerald was very influential on you and sort of led you into film school, right? And this story is for the audience, like how I met Ya'ke. I went to UIW as well. Went to the communications department because I was unsure. Like, I wanted to do something in media. I originally wanted to go into audio production because at that time I was doing music. It wasn't working out. I had to switch it up, and then ended up starting shooting music videos, which led to me making them into short films. But I remember taking Dr. Fitzgerald's classes, the screenwriting, all the film classes that she offered. And the same thing, she kind of took me under her wing because she seen that was the direction I wanted to go. And it's funny because around there, me being the black guy doing film or wanting to do film, everybody was like, yo, have you met Ya'ke? You know who Ya'ke is? Have you heard of Ya'ke? I was like, who is this mystical nigga? Like, who is this guy? And it was funny because you came down as a honored alumni for our student media gala. And I never forget, Dr. Fitzgerald was like, she was like, hey, come here, girl. She's like, I know you probably heard this guy's name a lot, but this is Ya'ke. Like, this is Terry. He, wants to do film. I wanted to put you down with him, yada, yada. So we ended up chopping it up. And at the time, I was telling you, like, yo, I want to go to film school, but like how you just said, wanted to stay close to home, but I didn't know, like, what programs in, Texas were there had film programs. And you were like, yo, we got a program at UTA. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. You gave me your card, and like, that was the only place I applied to. I was like, I looked up your shit and I was like, nah, I got to study under this guy. Like, you know what I mean? And it was, and the same, like how you just said, all those like cards lining up influence you the same way. Like your influence on me was exactly the same. Like, Fitzgerald, and I was already doing things that had the basic building blocks. Fitzgerald kind of led me towards you, and being at UTA in the program, studying under you and studying with Josh and Sydney and Gabe, like, honed that craft. You know what I mean? Taught me how to move camera, taught me how to work with actors, taught me how to use like all those like small nuances to tell a story better. And it's interesting that you said something, right? Because I say this all the time. You said UT taught you how to be an independent filmmaker, right? And I think you took that influence from UT and brought it to UTA and gave that to us, because when I go to these film festivals and I look at these other films from other schools, like the big programs like NYU, USC, American Film Institute, our work is up there with them. Like, you know what I mean? If not better, I'd say. But they got like those huge backings of Spike Lee being at NYU or George Lucas being at USC, and those names behind them, and the connections. But but they like focus more on being an employee of film versus being a filmmaker, if that makes sense.
Not necessarily. I mean, I hear what you're saying, because I do think, there is something about, I think the thing that we forget about filmmaking is that, don't get me wrong, you have to be talented. You have to be able to tell a story. You have to know what you're doing. But your connections actually will take you further than your talent.
Oh, yeah, no, most definitely.
Sometimes in larger schools, the network is just so big and just so massive that you don't know who you're going to connect with. This person could potentially come in and do a master class and you could end up working under them. I've heard of things like that happening at bigger schools. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen at smaller schools, but I think the opportunity, presents itself a little bit more when you're at a larger school. And so sometimes those students just come out well connected. However, I'm going to say this, I am friends with a lot of people that went to like the NYUs and the UCLAs and the Columbias or whatever. Yeah. So they, some of those films are brilliantly told, actually. I mean, they understand how to tell a story emotionally. They understand narrative structure. They understand how to work with actors. And so you watch those films and you are impressed. But just like you said, I do think that sometimes, you see films from certain places and you say to yourself, man, if I had those resources, I think that I could have done something, a little bit better than that. But that's just everywhere. I don't think we can call out any particular school. I just think that's just how it works in the world, that there are some people who have more resources and they don't necessarily have the talent. There are some people who have the talent who don't have the resources. And then every now and then those things align where you have both. And that's when you can really, really shine, And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that person or that one, because really all you need is that one yes. People always say that you just need the one yes. But you're really just looking for somebody who will give you those resources that will allow you to do your work, uninhibited. And a lot of times we're working under such financial and creative constraints that we're not, able to really, really shine the way that we want to. So, but that's just a matter of time, you know?
My thing is like opportunity, right? Like I take every no as an opportunity. I take every yes as an opportunity. If you tell me no, all right, cool, but that's gonna make me work that much harder. To when I get a yes, I'm smashing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm going super hard.
I always used to say to y'all this one thing. It's like, you know, while you're, you know, quote unquote in the dark, as we would say, you know, nobody's looking at you, nobody's giving you that yes. You still have to make your own way, make your own path, and continue to wait to make your work. Because as you're making work, you're honing your craft, you're getting better, you're learning how to master the art of filmmaking, so that then when the light finally shines on you, you're undeniable, right?
Yeah, most
Can't
definitely.
help but give you what it is that you've been asking for. But if you get frustrated and you're not working in the dark, then when the light shines on you, guess what? You have nothing to offer.
Exactly.
Hello.